So do you want to talk Western Conference now? I don't want to move on if you're not ready to move on from the East.
That's up to you, man.
All right. So I found Harrison Fagan, who Lakers SB Nation, he was writing about how the Lakers this year are they don't have a lot of passes per game. Like they don't pass the ball a lot. I guess they're like bottom 9th in the league in passing. But they have a lot of points per 100 possessions, whatever, right? Like, so basically they're not a team that records a lot of passes, but they're still scoring a ton of points. Same with Milwaukee and same with Portland. Those are the Lakers, Milwaukee, and Portland are 3 of the worst teams in terms of how many passes you throw per game. And they're not even really, they're middle of the pack in assists, but they're one of the best teams in the NBA in hockey assists. And that's, it's an interesting development. I don't know if you've noticed that from the start of the year for this team, but they are the kind of the extra pass, it seems like, and that's how they're scoring.
Well, you know what the Lakers do, and they kind of go back to the throwback to the 80s. We move the ball, and we being ourselves, the Celtics, Pistons, and players like that. But what we did is we had a play called Fist Up. And when it was fist up, it was going into Kareem. Kareem was in the low post. All the other 4 players got out by the 3-point line. And we threw the ball into him. And depending on what the defense did, but most of the time when we wanted to score, we wanted the ball to be in Kareem's hands.
Right.
Because he had an unstoppable shot, the hook shot. So he was going to shoot the basketball. That's what the Lakers are doing now. LeBron has control of the basketball. When he drives or he makes something happen, if he doesn't shoot it, he will make the pass, and then it's one shot up. Or they'll throw it to AD. And what does AD does? He measures his players up, backs them down, and he turns and shoots over the shot. So when you have that kind of advantage over teams, you don't need to pass the ball a lot. Now, I think what it helps, though, is that LeBron is willing to pass. AD is willing to pass when the double team comes. But other teams know now. Lakers, I think the 3-point field goal percentage and attempts are up like by 5 or 10 3-pointers this year. So you can't leave them shooters out there. You got KCP who's shooting the ball well, Kuzma who's shooting it well. You got shooters around him. Schroeder is a 3-point shooter. So Lakers have the design, and I'm gonna give him his due now. Rob Pelinka has really done a good job of bringing in the right pieces to the team to make that team unguardable for a moment. Because again, even Schroeder has shown that his one-on-one attack game is as good as anybody else's. You can't guard him one-on-one. You got to have that other person in there to claw because that guy gets to the basket.
Well, and you mentioned, they're not they're not a small ball team, but they are. I mean, LeBron's shooting 39% from 3. Anthony Davis shooting 39% from 3. Schroeder's at 37%. Kuzma's at 38%. I mean, you got 4 guys that are upper 30s from 3. That is incredible.
Well, that's today's game, though. That goes with the game today. They want, when we played, I talk about our team, specifically the Lakers, if we shot 10 3-pointers, that was considered a lot for us. Well, totally. Teams now are shooting 10 3-pointers the first 5 minutes of the game. They got
KCP and Wes Matthews coming off the bench, and they're both, exactly. I mean, who knows if Wes Matthews is shooting, 41% from 3 all year, and KCP is, I mean, he's not going to be 53% from 3 all year.
No, but as long as he's like in the mid 40s, that's a good percentage. But that's the way of the game now. And again, it's about points on the board. So the Lakers, that's why I say the Lakers are a unique beast, because they can match up with any team in this league. And now that we're on the West, you look at the teams they got to match up with: the Clippers, the Phoenix Suns, Utah, Mavs, Portland, Denver, Spurs.
How do you rank them? How do you rank them right now behind the Lakers?
Those teams?
Yeah, like Clippers second.
I don't care, Ari. What you talking about? Ain't none of them gonna beat them. Okay,
you ranked the East. You ranked the East. I thought you were gonna rank the West too. No,
well, the East, because the Lakers are the West. They're the only team in the West to me. All these other teams are just what do you call them? It's like you go out. They're appetizers until they get to the entree. That's what all these other teams are.